In this video we're going to have a look at the Warlock dungeon tile system from Wizkids.
Hi, I'm Gill. I'm pretty new to being a DM. I started playing this year during the whole COVID lockdown thing, which means that my experience so far has been almost exclusively online. While I'm playing online, I have, of course, access to beautiful digital battle maps and the perfect token for every monster. So as we come out of lockdown and I start thinking about playing face-to-face for really the first time as a dungeon master, I'm having to think about new challenges, and one of the biggest of those is terrain and battle maps.
I'm Harry and I'm an experienced dungeon master. I've been doing this for a long time, but it's still a challenge for me. I've done things like I have built my own terrain out of foam. I've even bought my own 3D terrain, but I never end up getting it painted.
So there are some simple options. There are the sort of battle maps that you can roll out and just draw on. There are the adventure tiles, but I love to immerse my players in the world. So I'm looking for something that is a little bit more immersive. So when recently we were at our local game shop and I came across the Wizkids Warlock dungeon tiles, I really wanted a closer look.
The Warlock dungeon tiles are pre-painted terrain that clicks together. You start by buying one of the starter sets. They've got a dungeon tile set, which gives you the basic floors and walls and doors to get you started, or there's the town and village set, which you can use to make things more like a tavern. Then when you're ready, you can start to add expansion packs, and that includes more doors and extra floor and wall tiles and ladders and stairs, things that can really up the terrain. Jill really liked the summoning circles, so you can actually add mystical parts to your dungeon.
So I could see the possibilities as soon as we opened the box. I liked the fact that they came in a box that was easy to pack things and to access things, and I think we would continue to use the box, and it's got its own little carry-on handle. I loved the fact that the floor tiles have wood on one side and stone on the other, so that immediately gives you more flexibility with what you do. When I started putting them together, I did encounter a few small problems. One of them was that the clips which hold the various pieces together do require a little bit more force than I first thought, and actually require a little bit of a rocking motion as well. So if you see the clips just go into here and have to be pushed in, I found that a pair of pliers helped. For me, just getting the pliers and clipping like that made it much easier to do. You then, obviously, with the second piece, you don't have the option of the pliers, but you've got a little bit more traction, and if you rock them, they clip in together like that. So there's my first little bit of floor.
And they're double-sided, so you get stone terrain for flagstones, and then on the other side you've got wooden planking.
That's right. So you can start off with your floors. There are a couple of different options for floors. There are these small tiles, which are 2 by 2. There are larger tiles, which I've already incorporated into something that I've built here, which are 4 by 4. And then there are also a couple of corridors. Once you've got your floor in place, you then add walls. So you have a number of varieties of things for walls. You've got straight pieces of wall, you've got corner walls. Again, they clip together with the same Warlock clips.
They do have outer walls and inner walls.
Outer walls and inner walls. So these ones are designed to go around a corner like that. So that would go into there. And
the next one would have gone right there.
So again, to put the clip in, I just hold it like that. I clip it in.
Now for it to work, make sure you're using the center hole for the clips, because when you get to internal walls, and there are internal walls available, these actually have little metal tabs that actually slot down in there between the tiles, and they need to miss the connector.
The internal walls are actually pretty cool. So once you've built your setting, you can then add some of these internal walls like that. The one disappointment I had with the internal doors is that these doors aren't openable. These ones are. So
yep, these all
those ones open, but these internal ones don't. So they're more for set dressing than actual functionality.
Now, in technical terms, the advertising says that these are 4D, and I have no idea what that's meant to mean. I think it's meant to mean that they're 3D and then they have opening and closing doors and things like that. In isometric terms, what they are is actually 2.5D. What that means is all the walls are actually half height. So they aren't full height, and there's a bit of an advantage to that in that it's easier to see over the walls to see your miniatures. It's easier when you're placing your miniatures close to walls to still be able to access them, move them, and see where everything is. So it isn't a full 3D system. You'll notice the doors actually protrude up over the level of the walls. So it's 2.5D. The walls do have some height, but they're not full height.
But for people who do want full height walls, I did see that Warlock are coming out with some new expansion packs later this year that do have full size walls.
Okay, and also you get the connector clips for the Warlock system, and they're proprietary clips. They are double clips. As you notice, there's the rocking action to set them in, but the set does come with adapter clips, and the adapter clips allow it to connect to other systems. And other common systems are things like Open Lock, and this set is Open Lock, or Dragon Lock. So if you have any Open Lock or Dragon Lock stuff already, you can still add and use the new Warlock stuff and just clip them all together and it'll just work.
So once we started working on the basics with the basic pack, very quickly I wanted to get into more exciting things. So the basic pack comes with a lot of the things you need. You've got doors, you've got single doors and double doors.
Double doors, yep.
You've got, as we mentioned before, you've got the floor tiles and you've got the wall tiles. But very quickly beyond that, for me, I wanted to start getting into more set dressing, more things that I could do. That's where the expansion packs come in. As Harry mentioned, there are a number of expansion packs. One of the first ones that we looked at was stairs and ladders. There are lots of options for that. So, for example, this is a little spiral staircase.
Yeah.
And they've thought about the fact that the minis have larger bases. So, very cleverly, within the spiral staircase, they've actually got an inset so that as you put your mini on, you can put it onto there and they can still stand on the slightly narrower stairs. You can change the levels. So, you can, for instance, have a set of stairs going up to a platform, but the platform can be different levels depending on how you put this particular assemblage together. So I could have a lower platform there with a set of stairs leading up to that. And once again, the stairs have got the inset so that you can have your characters actually on the stairs. The ladders have something similar. The ladders do have a little indent as well. Although I did find that with the standard bases for the Nolzor kit, they don't actually fit very well into the ladder. The smaller ones did. The stairs and ladders set comes with some shorter ladders, some longer ladders, wooden platforms, and wooden flights of stairs. In the same way as the stone ones can be made to different heights, the wooden ones can as well. So, for example, I can have a wooden platform there with a flight of steps going up to that. If I wanted to, I could have another flight of steps going up.
And the stairs really help to give you a 3D feel to your building. So, for example, the stairs in one room can lead up to another room that you've created that people can then move up into. The party can then move up. So it's good to make different levels of gameplay, but even to have platforms inside a room that people can step up onto a balcony and make your fights and your roleplay 3D.
So another one of the expansion packs that I was very excited about was the doors set, because you can never have too many doors. Part of Dungeons and Dragons is trying to find out what's behind the next door. When I first opened the packet, I was a little bit disappointed. I was expecting them to be doors like the ones in the basic set that could clip on and be part of the actual walls, but they're not. All of the doors in the expansion pack are on these little perspex bases. So they're actually designed to be placed inside things that you've already built. There are little prison doors, sewer doors, there are double doors.
Oh, is that a portcullis?
This is a portcullis.
Oh, and it actually goes up and
And it
down.
actually goes up and down. So, yeah, somewhere in there you can have a portcullis that can close as people are coming through.
Oh, I can think of evil things to do to my players with that.
One of my favourites is the hidden door.
Oh, secret doors.
Secret door. So once your players have actually located the secret door, you can put this into the wall and...
So you can pull out one of the wall sections and now replace it with
the secret door.
The secret door.
So there, then it swings open and your players can go through. I also rather liked the little trap door. So you can have that on the floor to indicate that you can go down into another level.
And again, that gives you more of that 3D that you can build with this environment, that you're going down to a lower level or up to an upper level in a building.
But the one that I was really excited about was the summoning circles. It's something that will play into my own game fairly well. The summoning circles come with their own LEDs.
I know that was the selling point for you.
Absolutely. So basically they have this base piece which you place wherever you want it in your game. So for instance, I might have it in that room. You then choose your summoning circle, and there's lots of different ones with different patterns on. You place that in, you press the center, and the summoning circle lights up. There are 3 different colours. There are white lights, there are red lights, and there are green lights. And there's also a mode where the light pulses. So there's a green.
Yeah, green.
So there's the green pulsing light. I think that's quite effective. And just to show you how different it can look with the different patterns on there.
So that should add an interesting bit of pageantry to the game.
As you can see, there are quite a lot of different options there. Now let's just put the red one on because I do quite like the red. And so there's the red summoning circle. As soon as I saw these, I have so many ideas of how they can be used in the game.
As a player in Gill's game, I am very worried about what ideas you might have about how that's going to work.
Oh, you should be.
So expansion pack 1 adds more floor and wall tiles. So that allows you to expand the original dungeon set by adding more floor area, more wall length.
And it also incorporates some slightly different designs of walls and doors. So there are some wooden walls which are not in the main pack there.
Yes.
And there are a few wooden doors. So again, just expanding the options that you have within the game.
And there are expansion parts in that for both sets. So there are some of the plaster and stucco walls that you can use with the town and village set. So again, if you have a tavern, that can then help you expand your tavern building so that it's got more floor area.
We've told you about the things that I like. Some of the difficulties that we had, the summoning circle press to switch the lights on and off isn't always that reliable. Sometimes you press it, it doesn't change colour. Sometimes you press it and it does something completely different. So I've had to play around with that a little bit. Within game, hopefully you can just set it to what you want with a little bit of fiddling. And once it gets there,
Or not,
you can then just have it in place. But that was one of the things that I found. It was a little bit unreliable. It didn't cycle through in a regular way.
It's also battery powered, so you would need to make sure that you had a spare battery in case in the middle of a game it ran down. Nothing worse than having your summoning circle go flat.
That would really leave everybody stranded.
Absolutely.
I also found that while I would like to have had extra support, so for example, when I put a piece in here, I would like to be able to clip it on 2 sides, but because of the difficulty of putting in the clips, once you've got one in, it seemed virtually impossible to be able to get another one in on the other side. So there's not quite as much strength as I would have liked. So as an example, if I put this one in here, and that's what I mean about it being quite difficult.
Yep.
You want to have a go at that?
I want to
You
have
can
a go
do
at
it.
that. Nope.
So yes, I
I
found
can't do it.
sometimes it takes quite a lot of effort to be able to get the pieces together. The thing I found best was to come to the edge so that I could actually get a little bit of leverage into it.
Yeah, because that is the point at which they talk about going left and right, but I mean, you can't do it with that bit.
There we go.
Oh, there you go.
But that's what I mean about it. They can be quite difficult to put together, and once they're together, there's no way that I could then put a clip into that part of it. So again, you'd keep building, so you'd clip the walls there. Leave yourself plenty of time when you're doing this stuff.
Yes, you wouldn't want to be doing this at the table. You'd want to have built it and pre-prepared it before your game.
There we go. Okay, so you see, because I haven't been able to put extra corners in and so on, you do have to be a little bit careful when you lift and move it. So that is something to be aware of. Now, one thing I didn't mention earlier was these nice little corner finishing pieces. So if you ever end up with a corner that doesn't quite meet, there are these nice little pieces that are designed to just slot in to neaten up those corners.
And that is one aspect of these tiles, is that all the floor tiles are full squares. So they're full 1 inch squares all the way up to the walls. There's no, some systems cut the edge ones in half, so you've only got a 1/2 inch for your mini to try and fit into. The system they've done here, the walls are actually outside of the floor area. So you've got your 2x2 or whatever floor tiles, and all the squares in there, all the 1 inch squares are full size, so you can fit your mini onto it.
So my bard Tizzy can be standing right up against the wall singing her little heart out.
Absolutely. The pieces are all, as far as I can tell, cast from resin. Resin is a reasonably good product. It allows them to make interesting shapes, and the painting is quite good, but resin is a little brittle, so you possibly need to handle this with care. We actually had one of our doors that seems to have come off its hinges, and it just looks like the resin has worn on that particular part that moves. So just be aware of that resin is a product that will wear, and it will need to be handled reasonably carefully. So the Warlock system is a set of pre-made dungeon terrain that clips together, and they clip together using a clip system, the Warlock system, and they're pre-painted. So it's a turnkey solution. That's one of the things I liked about it, is that you buy the set, open the box, pull the pieces out, clip them together, and start to play. You could grab one of these and have a room together in 10 or 15 minutes and be ready to play. Unlike my 3D terrain that I've bought, which I've never actually got around to painting, even though I've used it a couple of times on the table.
It's not a cheap option though.
It's not. It is relatively expensive, but I don't think that means it's not good value. So it is a system that's going to be supported, so there'll be plenty more expansions coming, and because it's from Wizkids, it's going to have legs. You're going to be able to buy the expansions, you're going to be able to buy these at your local hobby store, as we did. We walked in, saw the sets, and decided to take quite a number of them home. So it's just a system, I think, that there is an initial outlay, but I think that we'll actually get quite a bit of use out of them.
I agree, and I'm really keen to get into face-to-face games now, because I want to give my players some of these rooms to work with, and I really want to get some summoning circles happening.
One of the expansion packs that we don't actually have access to at the moment is set dressing. So chests, treasure, other items that you can use as scatter terrain to populate them, chairs, tables, that sort of thing. And again, with some of that, it's nice to have them pre-painted as a Wizkids product, but there are also plenty of other manufacturers that make tables and chairs, and all of that will work inside this system.
I agree, that's one of the things that I definitely want to get into next. Now that I've got the bare room, I want to furnish it, I want to have things on the floor, things on the walls, make a real environment for my players to be immersed in.
You know you're a DM when you go to shop for miniatures and you start getting excited by chairs and tables. So while it is expensive to get into, this is a good product, and you're going to be able to find it available at your local hobby store. I would definitely recommend it.
So let's start building and get some games happening.
Absolutely.